Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhair agale, ni hao, chure shumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimus, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyat, kaifa hal, hale shama chatore, ahlan wasalan marhaba, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PT World and watching World this morning, alongside the very amazing Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hajmi. Hello Shiza, how are you today?
I am great, how are you?
Did you like the change I made?
I did, I was sort of, boasting about it that you're going to call me amazing, but okay.
Alright, but I think that the day is great, the weather's great outside, the weather's changing, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure that you look after yourselves, because that's what they say. When summer is actually transitioning into winters, that's the time when you actually have to look after yourself. Previous week, I felt ill as well, and then I had to take a day off, and then Shiza fell ill too as well, which she said was because of me, and I do not certainly find the reason why it was for me. And half of the time in our lives, I think we blame somebody else for the problem we have.
No, because I did, catch the virus from somewhere, so I was just assuming maybe it's you.
No, it's perfectly alright. I was just cracking a joke early in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't think... Did you have your coffee today?
I did not.
Oh, see, that's what the problem is. So the joke does not get absorbed. It's still in the air. But it's perfectly alright. Yeah, what are we talking about today, Shiza?
So before we talk about what we are talking about today, let's talk about social media and how accessible it is to everyone. Yeah. So, you're basically just a click away, just a touch away from accessing a whole new world that is on your gadgets, in your pockets, in your phones, laptops, everywhere. Yeah. So because of this accessibility, people tend to forget a lot that they have a sense of responsibility that they should feel, about what they're posting, what they're commenting about someone, what they're putting out there in the world. I mean, there are a lot of haters in the world, as I keep reiterating, keep saying. Don't be one of them, because it's sort of your responsibility that if you have something that you can access, so easily, you have access to the whole globe in your hand. Be someone positive. Bring out the change that you want to see. Just don't, put out hate there. Like, exactly. I know a lot of people who do their keyboard warriors. They sort of, feel secure in ruining someone's life or bullying them from behind the screens, which is not great.
Exactly. That's how it is. And thank you very much, Shiza, for putting the word out too as well, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is something which we need to focus on, because in this era of knowledge and ignorance, what we do is that we do not opt to do our own research. Yeah. And we go by the facts and figures shared by whatever page, and there are a lot of pages with different names who actually do not share the correct information. So please make sure that you do your own research, because what happens is that there's an aftermath of that too as well. And then there are people who are following you, and if you are misleading them, I don't think that that's good on your behalf. But now coming back to what we wanted to talk about today. Ladies and gentlemen, global population roughly estimated of women is higher than men in the entire world out of 7 billion people. Now imagine that if only 40 or 45% people are going to work for the economy of this globe, let's not just talk about the countries or the cities itself on a very macro level, I don't think that we'll have sufficient resources to generate income or have food to eat even by the end of the day if we do not let our women work. And over here in Pakistan, we do have a stigma attached with women working, which is getting better day by day. But there are more resources with which you can create opportunities, and that's what we are going to talk about today.
So, when you say that you don't allow women to go out and work, it's great that it's sort of improving in Pakistan, but some of the main reasons are, societal barriers, or some that you don't want the women to go step out of the house and probably work for someone. You don't know how the work environment is going to be. Yeah. So one of the better things that has taken over lately is, women entrepreneurship. So what they are doing is the friends are sort of supporting them to establish a business that they're interested in, which is great, because then that thing, comes off that, oh my God, you're not allowed to go and work for someone else, because then you're your own boss. You're working for your own self. Yeah. Other than that, you're also sort of creating working opportunities for other women who are not allowed to work elsewhere. And there are better job opportunities. Employment rate is improving and everything, which is great. And what's even better is that social media is being used for this stuff.
Exactly. And then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we won't be talking about like farming or people giving fake likes and whatnot, and just to publicize things. But I think that social media is used for a marketing tool, and I think that social media has changed the dynamics of marketing in today's world as well.
Absolutely.
And it's in reach for everyone. Anybody and everybody can actually be a part of it. So there's no male or female. But today, we will focus on women empowerment quite a lot, and how women are creating opportunities for other women.
So do you have an answer to this? I do, but which one is the most commonly used social media platform in Pakistan?
Well, I think it needs to be Facebook, because people over here find it very hard to use Twitter and to express.
It's not user-friendly. Even I don't know how to use Twitter.
In the bracket of 150, 159 words, I don't know how many there are, because I do not even use Twitter, which is, to my ignorance, But I certainly didn't want you to talk about that, but I still haven't figured out how to use Twitter.
Same.
But let's forget that. Let's stick to topic. So on my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased that she's visiting Pakistan for the very first time. You know, she joined Facebook in 2015. The introductions are rather long, so I'm going to cut them short too as well. In 2015, and is Director of Community Affairs for Asia Pacific. She's focused on community engagement, women's empowerment, data for good, and creating partnerships to create opportunities for positive social impact. It's a long list, but she's none other than Miss Claire Devi. Hello, how are you? Assalamu alaikum.
I am so well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much and welcome to
I'm really
Pakistan.
excited to be in Pakistan.
Thank you very much for joining us. Alongside her, we have been joined by somebody who is a Pakistani finance professional, currently heading finance, accounts and HR department of Universal Service Fund Company. He's none other than Mr. Haris Mahmood Chaudhry, who's the CFO and company secretary. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for joining us. And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, she's a marketing professional turned entrepreneur, and she came up with the idea of sheops.com. What it is, we'll definitely find out. She's none other than Miss Nadia Patel, who's a women community leader, CEO at SheOps. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm fine. Good to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. So first things first, Claire, why did you even come to Pakistan?
I'm very excited to be in Pakistan. Funnily enough, we launched She Means Business at Facebook in 2016. And we started in Asia in 3 countries. Had no idea that it was going to be so big that we've already reached more than 100,000 women.
Wow.
And we saw just a huge opportunity in Pakistan. So I was actually contacted by a woman entrepreneur from Pakistan who said, can you bring this to our country? We have so many women that would benefit from this. And we also want to challenge the perception and show that there are all these amazing women entrepreneurs. So as soon as we found the really strong partners in USF and PITB, and we understood that there was a network of training, we were so excited to be launching it here.
Okay, but that's great. Claire, before that, can you sort of explain it to the people who don't know what She Means Business is?
So when I joined Facebook, we had this program for helping small businesses. And I saw this opportunity. There was a study by the UN that said if women could reach their economic potential, it would be an extra $89 billion to the economy of Asia Pacific.
Imagine that.
And I thought, there's just this huge opportunity around women and small businesses. This doesn't have to be women going to a traditional workplace. So really rallied the troops inside Facebook, and we did some research and found that women were really looking for 2 things. One was the skills to understand how to use technology, and the second one was network and inspiration. And if you go to the website that we've launched, you'll see not just the skills and the training, but stories of other women who are just like you, who started businesses in Pakistan.
Wow, wow, that's
Wow,
great.
that's just great. We'll definitely dig into it more as well, but let me just move on to Harisab over here. So Harisab, where does your role come in?
I'll just give you a brief introduction what we do, and then I can tell you how we partnered with Facebook. Universal Service Fund is a subsidiary or a guaranteed limited company by Ministry of Information Technology and Telecom. Our job is to provide infrastructure to remote and rural areas of Pakistan. So we've been doing this from last 8-9 years, and we have done a lot of penetration in terms of laying the optic fiber and increasing the penetration of the broadband. A couple of years ago, our board thought that we should think of something which we can look after the supply side of the what we have done, so we can take people on board and see they can take benefit of those optic fiber and infrastructure which we have laid down. So we partnered with Pakistan Baitul Mal. Just to give you a little more information, Pakistan Baitul Mal has got 150 centers across Pakistan. And these are in the areas where remote areas of Balochistan, Loralai, Pangjur, Turbat, interior Sindh, Fatah, and interior Punjab as well. So they've got women empowerment centers where people used to send their daughters and children to learn more like a kashida kari or cooking, etc. Because obviously they are not from the privileged. Yeah, skill set, but not from the privileged side. So these kind of things. So in case of anything, when they get married, and they can move on with their families. So we thought, why not we use this women empowerment center and give them infrastructure of computer labs, and maybe give them exposure. So how can they come and doing both, doing the household work thing, and can also learn and then see where they can see, as you said, the 50% of the population, more than 50% of the population is women. So they can also be the partner in making their house run in the manner the way they can contribute to the household income. So that's how we started. We established 150 computer labs. We hired the teachers for them. We started training them with different partners. And that's where we got in touch with Facebook. And Facebook has this program where they teach the entrepreneurs and the women so they can be self-sufficient in either making their own kind of business where they can have their livelihood, or they can look for a job by learning from the skill set.
Right.
And as you said, social media. So you don't need a lot of infrastructure to sell your things and everything. So by using the social media, you can be accessible to a lot of market. And
so do you think that they actually come in the bracket of SMEs too as well?
Yes, they can lead to SMEs,
Yeah.
but initially they want to just start off with their own, thing.
But that might be the next step.
Yes, definitely.
But the only reason why I'm posing this question to you is that you have served in the banking sector for more than 15 years, and that too abroad. How do you think that SMEs can have a positive impact on the economy of any country where we are working on the development of the small and medium enterprises?
SME is always the backbone of any country's economy.
But then we want a lot of them, to add to the economic betterment of Pakistan.
Yes, they do. But when it comes to Pakistan, SME, unfortunately, it's again related to online marketplace. SMEs do not have an access to online and marketplace. They are very limited to a certain place. For example, if something is being made in Sialkot, they might have an access to international level because of the football and everything. But there are very good small cotton things which are made out of Rahimia Khan. They might not have an access to international markets.
Yes.
By having this online marketplace, they can have access to international players, and also not even international, even places like Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, where they can go and access. And the idea is to empower them, these SMEs, so they can sell directly to the consumer.
By providing them the infrastructure.
Providing them an infrastructure.
So what I get is you basically providing them, as he said, with the centers to develop their technical skills and with trainers as well.
Yes.
So what do you do, Ms. Nadia?
So Sheops basically is an online marketplace for women. We provide them, which provides them earning opportunities to start and scale their businesses.
Okay.
We're working on increasing the digital and financial inclusion of women. So we also help home-based women monetize their talents and turn it into a business, with the training right from branding, logo to providing them with an online platform, which is on a small scale, a marketplace which is just exclusive to women and women-oriented products. We also provide them social media trainings, and I'm a certified trainer for the She Means Business program.
Oh, that's great.
So we train them on the Facebook tools, like, being in their homes, how can they use the different tools provided, to scale their businesses and to reach their audiences.
Okay,
so,
that's great.
And we're a community now of 150,000 women. We started out with 5 women on a small WhatsApp group. And
Okay, so Claire, the next thing I'm going to ask you, I don't know whether it's legal or not, but I know a lot of people have done it, that they had different pages, they bought different pages, and then they used to promote somebody else's links on that too as well. But that has been taken away from them by Facebook as well. Now, if you want to boost your post, you obviously have to get your credit card charged. So things at times get out of our hands too as well because it's social media. So where do we actually ensure that, whatever you're doing or the products you're producing, or even if it's like, projecting or promoting a business, won't actually be outside our capacity, because this is the type of security we might require to do all of this.
Absolutely. So one of the things with She Means Business is we start with kind of a zero knowledge.
Okay.
So the idea is bringing the community together, and that's why we have great ambassadors like Nadia who really bring women together.
Okay.
And we want to teach them the basics, right, from what does marketing even mean? Do you understand what your product is?
Yeah.
And then the role of social media is around getting that message out. So we focus very much on, we call it the organic thing. So how do you set up a page? What are the free things that you can do, starting with your community? And as I said, women are really about community. So we find, Facebook has these amazing groups, so the women start to share information with each other.
Okay.
Funnily enough, some of the most popular training that we do is actually the creative things. So many women will come with a smartphone, or even not the latest one, with a camera on it, and we'll say, here's how you take photos on it, here's how you take a short video. And we see that when you have amazing pictures and videos that you've done yourself, that's where you get more interaction with people. So these are the kind of skills that She Means Business aims to help the women with.
Wow.
Okay, that's great. But you mentioned that Pakistan is the 21st country that you're bringing She Means Business to. Is there, Mr. Harris, let's come to you, or any one of you can answer. Do you think, is there any eligibility criteria for women who want to be a part of this? Or should they just have probably an established business, or just an idea, or just want to learn a skill? What is the criteria?
I can speak globally, and you can probably speak to
Go ahead.
Pakistan.
Okay,
In terms
okay.
of She Means Business, all you need is an idea.
Okay.
It's really about the inspiration is such a big part of this, and we really want to find women of all different levels. So whether they're in the city, whether they're in regional areas. So you have an idea, and then you see another woman who's already done it. You suddenly think, you know what, I could be her.
Drives
you can't
you.
be what you can't see. So there's no charge for the training,
Right.
and then we've got these amazing partners who roll it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know, when we're talking about Pakistan, so someone just need to go and enroll themselves in that women empowerment centers. It's free of charge. The access of computer lab is free.
Wow.
They can come in, get the idea, and that's where the trainer will come in, help them in conceiving that idea into a more mature way.
Okay.
Well, that's just great. But you earlier mentioned that you're working in collaboration with the Ministry of Information and Technology as well. How has that been on the forefront as well? Are they really collaborative, or you really have to push them? What kind of efficiency or effectiveness do you get out of them?
Our Universal Service Company, ISC, is a perfect example of public and private partnership. That's what Pakistan has been looking at. Our board is headed by the Federal Minister for IT and Telecom. And we've got, I would say, more than 100% support on all the projects from the government of Pakistan. We take all our projects to the board, and the board is headed by the minister, and he's fully committed towards these programs and going forward also. Wherever there's a need of technology where we can enhance it and we can help, and especially on this program to give, take it to another level, to maybe enhance it, to maybe do it more centers. Like we have done 150 centers across Pakistan, maybe we can take it more center. So as far as the government is concerned, they're fully committed and they want to take this further, and in line whatever the current government's vision is, like creating jobs, like 100,000 jobs every year and everything. And I think by taking this program further, that will definitely help them in achieving this goal.
Well, that's great, beautifully put. But coming back to you, Ms. Nadia, now you were sort of working in at a thing that is very much close to how She Means Business operates, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to share some success stories of the women that you have trained with us?
Yeah, so we've had, we had women entrepreneurs. Initially, when we had our Facebook group or a community, so women would post out the stories and they would post out what they do. Like we had this this thing called She Inspires, which they would share their stories. So then we had other women who got inspired by those stories, and there are these two stories that really touched my heart. One was of a housewife who was feeling, who had sort of, was sort of oppressed by her family, and she was unable to pursue a career. At the same time, while going through a very depressive phase, she had a special child, and then raising that special child and not being happy in her life, she was sinking into depression. And when she joined a group and she saw a lot of other women doing creative stuff, and she realized that a lot of women are making natural skincare products and selling.
Right.
And she had like a huge, lots of plants of aloe vera in her backyard, and they used to anyways for their own selves make aloe vera water and aloe vera, gels and stuff. So she decided, she posted the idea on the group, and she got a phenomenal response. And from there she started out, and she started initially making aloe water and then aloe cubes, and she got into a lot more products. Today she is a very recognized seller on Sheops as well. She stocks at a number of stores in Karachi. So, from being in that depressive state to having an identity of her own and her own business and her own brand. So, there are lots of stories like these that have come out of Sheops, and that's what we want to do.
But you must be so proud that you're the driving force behind this.
Yes, I mean, I still feel the journey's just started. There's a lot more to do. I mean, this is just the beginning. But the idea is to change the narrative about, around women working in Pakistan. Because being a conservative, family-oriented society, even females who have degrees, once they are married and they have children, they need to, stay at home and raise their family. And that sometimes becomes a difficult thing psychologically for them, because they lose their identity. And this way is...
One of the things that Nadia told me when we met about this story, that I think you're very humble about all this, not just this woman, but you told me that now there were several other women that had seen her story, seen it online, and now had started similar business, because they had never thought about the fact that this aloe plant could actually be a business for them.
Yeah. So this aloe, and this another one who actually started a hair care and hair oil business because she had a premature daughter, and the daughter wasn't getting hair, so she studied Ayurveda, and she developed a range of products. Looking at her and looking at this other story, now we have at least, I think, good 25 to 30 women who have these skincare products.
And how many women have you trained so far, collectively?
collectively we have different trainings. So I would say overall, the structured trainings, we've trained about 150 women or so, but informally through our community there have been thousands of stories.
And what do you train them for? Because they have an idea, obviously that's something which they're doing already. Do you train them about internet, how to use it? And since Mr. Harris is actually providing them with the infrastructure, computer labs and everything, so what are you actually teaching them? Because kids these days, they actually know how to use internet and everything else. So where does training come in?
So we primarily work more with women entrepreneurs and home-based women. A lot of them are not very tech savvy. So firstly, we provide them a website and online platform where they can showcase the products. It's their own like mini shop. We provide them logistics. We partner with logistics companies, provide them logistics, the escrow payments. In terms of trainings, because they don't have like a business background, we do trainings from business modeling, let's say on lean canvas, doing photography with a mediocre cell phone, and then the social media tools. I mean, especially the free tools that they can leverage, because even though they are on Facebook and they may have the Facebook
Where are
pages,
those tools? I haven't seen them.
there are lots of them. I can name a few,
I
like
think on the pages
Boomerang,
we do have
Layout.
them. Yeah, go ahead. Name them.
There's Boomerang, there's Layout, and I don't know if you know, on the Facebook page there is a shop section where you can really have your own small mini little e-commerce shop.
Wow.
So you can post your offers, you can post jobs, I can go on. There's a long list.
Well, that's just cool. So that's where Facebook comes in, right?
And Messenger, I mean, you see a lot of the women, they start getting, they're able to interact with people through Messenger, talk about their products. And it can be really hard if you've grown up with technology, you learn about it at school.
I think I'm from that age where, we really didn't have television sets with the remote control, and then eventually remote controls came into as well. Not that old, but certainly we're from that age where we saw technology coming in and making a place for its own self.
And there's still many women that haven't had access to the technology in the same way, or maybe haven't made the connection that this thing that I'm using to connect with my family could actually be something that could grow a business and support me economically.
Well, that's just great.
That's
We'll
great.
definitely build up on that, but there's one more thing, Shiza, and that is that, for the last time when I went to London, so what happened was that I actually ordered a piano for my niece. And, the piano, which I saw in the picture, and the one I got delivered was actually the same. But over here in Pakistan, there's this problem which I need to address. So probably, I'm too big for them too as well. So what happened was I liked a pair of keys. I ordered them online. And when they got to me, they weren't really in a very good shape the way they were in the picture. So people who were actually doing all the photography are definitely good.
It's happened to me as well. Yeah.
Do we have a quality check over here? Because that's the reason why people might not be interested in buying things online within Pakistan. That's what I need to talk about. Let's go for a short break. Don't go anywhere. Good morning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching World This Morning, and for those who just joined, we're talking about social media platform. People, how you can use social media platforms to boost and enhance their businesses.
Exactly.
And just before we were heading out to a short break, Shazad talked about how we can manage quality control, because sometimes you see something on Facebook or on other platforms as well, and you want to order it, and when it comes to you and you see it, this is not what I ordered. And it happens a lot,
Or
So my
probably
mom,
the quality is very cheap.
yeah, so it happened to me as well. It happens to everyone, I'm pretty sure, especially in Pakistan. So my mom uses Facebook a lot. She's always scrolling, and she's part of one of those groups where women sell a lot of things. And she just goes on buying. She's like, okay, I want this, I want this. And whenever it reaches, most of the time it's bizarre. I mean, I'm like, what did you just buy? So how are you
I don't
ensuring
even
the
know why
quality?
women shop this much.
So how are you ensuring the quality of the products?
So one of the things with She Means Business that we're launching is around training women to understand not just how to use the product, but how to use it in the right way, how to create quality, how to understand what is the product that you're selling and show it in the best possible way.
Okay.
And by empowering these women to run their business properly, maybe there's some ideas that they came to it with, or maybe they didn't realize what they were doing.
Right.
That's why the training is so important. And actually working with people like USF and with SheOps that have quality control and have other trainings around it, that's how we think we make the training of She Means Business even stronger.
Okay,
Wonderful.
okay, but that was sort of a global answer, but I do get that because you've been working for a lot of countries as well. I think Miss Nadia or Mr. Hyson, if you can explain this sort of better, because it's so, I can't say trend, but it is a thing in Pakistan, of replicas especially, and what you order is not going to be there. It's just a rough idea of
It's
what
always been though.
yeah.
So
need
that
to be
kind
honest.
of takes away the buyer's trust, and that's where players like SheOps comes in. We do have a community where they're interacting, they're learning, but we have the website where we curate the sellers, we check the products to ensure that they're selling original products, they're not replicas, they're not copies.
Okay.
And then again, we give the buyers the option that if the product is defective or it's not as promised or as shown, we give them a full refund
Okay,
of their payments. So that way, the buyers are safe, and at times even the sellers get cheated because the buyers may take the product and not pay. So both the buyers and the sellers are safe. And we're also doing trainings, and we keep talking about topics around not selling of replicas. Maybe it's okay to buy from a small home-based business or a smaller upcoming designer rather than buying the replica of a big designer because it's the name.
Right.
So we are we're very known in the market for being very against fakes and counterfeits and replicas, and we train women for the same. That create something, you can resell something from the market.
Okay.
You don't have to sell a copy.
Okay, that's great. Now I'll take you back in time. Almost like 2 years ago, I think I had women over from Lahore Chamber of Commerce, and they shared this project where they actually went to women in remote areas, told them that they can work for them, and they made amazing art pieces. And then they took them to Lahore. They had an entire show. People came in, and then they bought it for like thousands and thousands of rupees. But by the end of the day, the feedback I got was that the women who were actually behind making those arts and crafts didn't actually get paid as much as the other women who actually made sure that they were on board. Now, Mr. Harris, what I want to know is there any transparency within this whole process? Because I know, obviously, whether it's She Means Business, whether it's SheOps, there is a certain percentage which is going to go to the honors, right?
Definitely, yeah.
But are we doing justice with all of those women who are actually working day and night within their homes? I don't know where they collect money from, and do we give them a right amount of money where they can actually have a sustainable environment within their own houses?
Okay. You'll be pleased to know that Ministry of IT and Universal Service Fund are in process of creating a portal in which they are giving direct access to all those people who just do not have to sell this to middlemen or people of Chamber of Commerce, and then you can buy them on a very low price and sell them on a high price.
Yeah.
So we are reaching out to those small SMEs and these entrepreneurs who are making these kind of products and training them and guiding them how to sell themselves. So we are trying to remove the middleman. Maybe we'll not be able to do it immediately, but slowly and gradually we will get that.
Eventually,
We'll get to that level where they'll get the maximum value of their product. This project has been signed by Ministry of IT and USF a couple of months ago. So it's in initial phase, but hopefully in 6 months to a year time, you will see that we will try to remove this middleman, and the actual value of the product will go to the actual creator.
And we
of the
even need to
product.
talk about the payment methods as well. The rest of the world's working very different, and we over here in Pakistan are still lacking behind in that too as well. Who wants to answer? Anybody can answer.
I think government has taken a lot of initiatives now to remove that. Yes, initially there was an obstacle because the credit cards and everything were not being. But I think after the intervention of State Bank, they have access. They've allowed, in fact, a lot of vendors they can use their debit card and credit card. But you will also be surprised that Amazon, who's the one of the largest market line,
A to Z.
Yeah, exactly. But they also offer that home delivery kind of thing in India. So India having such a big market and technology enhancement and everything is over there, but still people in our society or maybe in that region, we have psychological that we are not very comfortable spending the credit card and debit card online.
Right,
We prefer that home delivery kind of service. So this is happening. I think she can shed light on it. There are a lot of places like Daraz and everything. They are giving home delivery. So you can bring the whatever the goods you have bought from the online. They can be delivered at your doorstep, and you can pay them to buy cash.
Okay.
But with time, obviously, it will move on to another more efficient payment system.
Okay, that's great. But Mr. Haris or Ms. Nadia, I think you are more appropriate to answer this. You guys have dealt with women from far-flung areas, as you have mentioned, but let's face this, there is a sort of stigma or a certain mindset that you have to tackle with when you're sort of pulling the women out of their houses to step up and do something. Did you go through any of that?
Yes, we do. I can give you now a lot of examples. When we went to places like Turbat, which is a very small town in Balochistan, where women would not get out of the house, or not even to go and buy groceries.
Right.
But that's where we went and we established a women empowerment center with Baitul Mal. We try to create awareness that will help them. Not just by learning, cooking, everything. They can also maybe have a bit of something which they can earn, for their livelihoods. So we had this, issue because obviously, and then looking at the computer and a smart device, it was also a taboo.
Okay.
Yes, but now if you ask me, it's in last 2 years we have tried to create that impact that people are not very scared of these things and they are willing to get. Wherever we have gone, we are seeing very positive. Yes, we saw the resistance initially, but now when people are getting exposed to these things, they are comfortable and they are happy.
Oh, that's
okay,
great.
okay. But from we love you for being here and everything. But from an outsider perspective, when you look into Pakistan and the responses that you're getting from Pakistanis, I feel like we all feel like Pakistanis are a very enthusiastic nation. They want to prosper in everything. But is it the response? Is it any different? Is it any better or worse than the other countries that you've worked in?
So I was lucky enough yesterday to go to one of the centres in USF in Islamabad, and I'm heading to Lahore tomorrow. And I've had a lot of conversations with the partners and with women as we were trying to set this up. One of the things that has struck me about, I think, businesses and women in business in Pakistan is this kind of passion and this kind of, however I'm going to do it, I'm going to put it together and I'm going to make it happen. And one of the great things about social media and Facebook is getting people that direct connection to other people.
Right.
So suddenly they're looking, going, okay, I think I can make this work. And you find that if you give people the base and a couple of skills and show, hey, you can use your phone, you could take these photos, suddenly they're putting together new business ideas.
Wow.
And I've been really impressed by how kind of imaginative they've been.
Wow, that's great.
That's great, Bob. One more thing, and it might be very technical too as well, and since I was not able to understand it, so I thought that I might pose this question to you. Now, for somebody who's actually the co-founder of Facebook, every now and then we hear him that he's in the news, answering questions to the senators too as well, and a lot of questions have been asked to him about the secrecy and the privacy of people's life. Now, do you think that it is safe to place a bet for somebody who's just very new to it and just knowing that nothing's going to be wrong or nothing's going to fall apart? Is it a safe bet?
I think the important thing here is we're talking about She Means Business, obviously, but I work on a number of programs, including safety, privacy, and I can tell you we absolutely take our care and our responsibility around these areas very seriously. We actually just ran yesterday here a roundtable with teams in Pakistan to get feedback on how they feel about social media. So I think as a company, it's something we take very seriously. We're constantly updating and looking at how we can do a better job. And the other thing that we see is by providing economic empowerment for women, it actually also benefits on the safety, security and privacy side, because one kind of balances the other.
Exactly. Okay. I think that's so good to listen to, that it should actually be true as well. But other than that, now, how do you think that we'll actually reach a point where people will be so empowered that they won't need help from these platforms? Or do you think, are we working in that direction? Do you think that we'll get rid of these intermediaries in the years to come?
Yeah. So I think some of the things that we've looked at doing is really, you know, there was a lot of things in the product, maybe people didn't realise they were there. So some of the education programs is around letting people know, hey, do you know that there is a security checkup that you can press this button and that you can actually see how secure you are, and we can teach them about things that sound really tricky, like two-factor authentication, which really just means that you can get something else sent somewhere and people can't get into your account. So breaking those things down and taking them out of tech talk into ways that make sense. As we run these education programs on business, we often start with 10 tips, and these can be things as simple as, do you know the person that you're friending? Do you know that if you post this, have you set it to public or have you just set it to your friends? And just breaking it down as simple as we can and making sure that everyone that we speak to really understands that the power is with them to decide what they share.
You know, just a while ago, Ms. Nadia, you were talking about how this woman, you were sharing the success story, how she made, you know, aloe cubes and everything. Other than embroidery and, you know, making hair care products, what are some of the things or the trainings that women are getting there?
The trainings we do are trainings very specifically around business, not just specific products, and we have women on our platform who are selling everything from like the categories are like fashion, fashion accessories and beauty. Then we have lifestyle products that are like beautiful hand paintings, calligraphy, then even food, like, you know, which is like most women are good at that, so like food and desserts. And you know, one question that he'd post in the middle as well about the middleman thing, what we do is we train these women to have their own store and to manage it themselves, so there's no middleman. So we are just facilitating the product delivery from the buyer to the seller and the payment back to the seller, and we give back 85% of the amount back to the sellers. So you know, that way the trainings are all business focused. They're not, we're not really doing a lot of the trainings around crafts and all, but they're more the business side and business and marketing.
Okay, so do you think that, you know, successful women entrepreneurs are going to have an impact on social growth as well?
Definitely, the 50% of the Pakistan's population is women, and what I strongly believe is when you empower a woman, you're empowering her family and the entire society, because you know the United Nations, there's this research which says that 70%, 70 cents of every dollar that a woman earns goes back towards her family and to improve the lifestyle of her family.
Definitely.
All right, I hope that's true too as well.
But you know, I know this is not your responsibility and it's none of your business what happens after the woman has, you know, made money or has succeeded. But I think we've talked about this before.
Okay, so you earn yourself as well, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Do you spend at home?
Yes, I take them out for shopping. I mean, that counts, right? I'm living with my parents, so I don't really have to spend a lot, right?
Yeah.
But what I do is I make my sisters and my mother and my father, whoever lives with me, you know, I take them out for shopping and movies, whatever. Anyway, coming back to this thing, I think Shahzad and I have discussed this before. There are a lot of women, who are, you know, working from small backgrounds because they have to work, because what their husbands are doing is they're probably drug addicts, or they're probably, you know, lazy not to go out and work and earn for the money and everything. But I know it's not your responsibility to keep a check. But what happens to those women who are actually spending all their earnings to their houses, and then what the husband does is, oh, you know what, you don't own it, give this to me, I'm going to use it and everything. Is that sad?
You know, we haven't encountered situations like that, but the women who we've, who've been trained and who become entrepreneurs through us, we've, their stories that we know of, their children going to small schools, government schools, they're now going to private schools, they've moved to better living premises. So those are the things we've seen, and there was a family who's had to pull their children out of school. They were able to send the kids back to school. So those are...
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
We do
so
follow up.
Okay, anyone of you on behalf of She Means Business, where do you see this thing going, let's say in the next 3 years?
So I can start by saying in Pakistan, our commitment that we're starting today is to train 150 master trainers and 20,000 women as a start. My dream and what I've seen in other countries is that it grows and that these women become trainers and inspire other women as well.
Okay,
wow, that's great, and that's what we want. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. It was lovely to have you.
Absolutely.
And it was lovely to have a conversation where it was women empowerment linked with what they should actually do to feel empowered. And you know, you've got it out there as well. She Means Business, sheops.com. Go ahead, check these websites out, and all you need is just an idea, and an idea can change your life.
And the process is really easy, you guys. The website is out. You can go get all the details there. Anyway, if there's anything you need to write to us or any questions or any feedback, write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
YouTube Daily Motion.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is going to be
11 p.m.
And take care till we meet next time. 1, 2, 3.
Till the next time, 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
morning.
Thank you very much.